Vice News did a fantastic report on the conflict in Yemen. Let's watch a piece of it.
Whoa. Rockets are flying in every direction right now. Come on. We gotta go.
For over 6 weeks, a coalition of regional countries, led by Saudi Arabia, has been carrying out airstrikes in Yemen, the Arab world's poorest nation. Saudi Arabia says it wants to destroy the rebel Houthi movement, which seized the country's capital Sana'a last year and is fighting to take control of the rest of Yemen. The Houthis have grievances dating back decades and are backed by Iran, Saudi Arabia's regional rival. The Saudis say that their airstrikes in Sana'a target Houthi military positions, but on the ground, residents are telling a different story. Yusuf is a Yemeni journalist on the ground in Sana'a who has been covering the airstrikes since they began.
We're now approaching the 5th week of the Saudi airstrikes, and there hasn't been any fuel, any electricity. And driving in Sana'a, you will find them. Thousands of cars are waiting in line at local gas stations waiting to reach the fuel pumps.
Most days, after the airstrikes and anti-aircraft fire have subsided, Yusuf heads to the sites of bombings to find out what happened. According to the United Nations, the bombing campaign led by Saudi Arabia has killed at least 1,800 people, with over 800 being civilians. But the absence of international observers means that accurate figures are hard to come by. On May 2nd, at least 20 civilians were killed in an airstrike in the district of Sawan.
Okay, 2 things need to be done here. Number 1, I hate to hit some of the points that we just hit in the last segment, but you have to split up Yemen. And then the second thing is, we have to stop arming Saudi Arabia, for sure. So, to the first point of splitting up Yemen, I think there are some divides that are too deep to be mended in a way where you don't have a separation of the communities, essentially. So we have a situation in Yemen where it's basically 50-50 in terms of the Sunni-Shia divide. And what's happening is a proxy war now between Saudi Arabia representing the Sunnis and Iran representing the Shias. So the Houthis are trying to take over Yemen, and then you have some other Sunni groups, and also Al-Qaeda is pretty common in Yemen as well. So you have this proxy war going on. You have a representation of the broader Sunni-Shia divide, and Yemen is basically a country that's not a real country, very similar to Iraq. I mean, Yemen, I believe it was formed in its current state in 1990. Okay, this is not a real country we're dealing with here. Iraq, for example, I think that was made in 1932, and of course the problem there is you have 3 separate areas with groups that hate each other. One area for the Sunnis, one area for the Shias, one area for the Kurds. Split that up and you do fix a lot of the problem. Now, I do think they're still going to be at each other's throats, but whoop-de-frickin-do, what are we supposed to do about that? We got nothing to do with that. Same thing in Yemen. Split it up. Make it one area for the Sunnis, one area for the Shias. And then if they end up going at it, okay, they're going to go at it, but all we can do is say, hey guys, please stop, and just not give weapons to Saudi Arabia, who's involved in the fight. And I love how confused we are, because in Iraq, we're on the side of the Shias, because ISIS, they're Sunni, and they're involved in that region in a very broad way, also in Syria. Everybody knows that. So we're on the side of the Shia militias. But then in Yemen, we're on the side of the Sunnis, because, of course, our allies are Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and they're involved fighting in Yemen against the Shia Houthis. So in one area, we support the Shias, in the other area, we support the Sunnis, and they go on in there to continue to talk about how all these civilians who are getting killed, they look at not only who's doing the attacks, Saudi Arabia, and they direct their anger at Saudi Arabia, but they can also clearly see the kinds of missiles and bombs that are being used, and it's from American companies. So we're also breeding hatred toward America because we're selling weapons to these people so that our fucking defense contractors can get rich. So this is more of the military-industrial complex nonsense. They don't care about the consequences of their actions. So again, I wish I could sit down with the Sunnis and the Shias and say, religion isn't true. Stop it. You're wrong. Islam is incorrect. Christianity is incorrect. All the religions are bullshit. So let's drop this and definitely drop the tribalism and the factionalism that's ramped up as a result of believing in your religion and having different feelings on nationality. I wish I could convince people of that, but I can't convince people of that. So we need to accept the facts as they are right now and realize that all the West can do is split up Yemen. I'd split up Iraq too, but that's a different conversation. And then just stop arming people who are going to use the weapons to kill civilians.